There have been some pretty big changes since I made my last video all about Princess Cruises and the tips, tricks, and insider secrets that you need to know. So now in 2022, I am sharing with you the biggest things that have changed and all of the things that you need to know to make your next Princess Cruise vacation the absolute very best. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, Princess has definitely made changes and gone through a little bit of an evolution as they've returned after the pandemic. And this was our very first time that we actually cruised recently on Princess. Now, I will leave a review video at the end of this one as well as in the description below. But what I did want to do in this video is share with you some of the new things that are going on their cruise ships that you really do need to know about it. Some of the things that are not there anymore on the cruise ships, at least for now. And some of the tips and tricks that you need to know, including how to save money on your Princess cruise. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give the video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Oh, and another little thing, if you've cruised with Princess recently, and if you have some tips to share, please do leave that in the comments below. I know how helpful it'll be for people that are going to read the comments as well as watch the video. Now, let's get started. So the first thing that we should talk about is the Ocean Medallion. Now, if you are cruising with Princess, then you probably know that all Princess cruise ships are Medallion class cruise ships. And there are a lot of benefits to that, a lot of things I'll talk about in this video. But in particular, what you have, of course, is instead of a cruise card, you do have a medallion that's going to actually unlock your door, very convenient. And also it's going to be your identification, basically everything that the cruise card would do. Now in this case, a bit of a change is that the medallion, it does come on a lanyard like before. You can still buy accessories like a wristband or a bracelet or a necklace or a clip, but just on the lanyard itself, it's actually much lighter than it was before. And I like that it seems to really stay in this holder really well. Now, as part of Ocean Medallion, you do have some features that are available on either your smartphone or your TV or the portals on the ship. So one of those things is Journey View. And this was a little bit new for us because it really has been updated since Princess Cruises have returned after the pandemic. So it was pretty nice. We were able to see some of the activities that were available. I did look on my phone. To be honest, I found that was just a handy way to be able to use a lot of the features. But we were able to see, even a couple of days before the cruise, some of the different activities that would be going on the cruise ship. We could sign up, for instance, to Zumba or to pickleball or to one of the audience participation game shows in Princess Live. So this was a lot of fun and a really nice feature. And you can actually even see how many people were going. Now, just to mention, you don't need to make reservations for these things. So you could just show up, but it was kind of nice to be able to see this in advance. Now, something else that I really like is the Find Your Shipmates. I've actually spoken about that before. I just find it really, really practical to find the people that you are traveling with, where they might be on the ship. But something that I did notice is that you can actually opt out of this now, and it looked like it was pretty easy right from your smartphone. Now, the thing that we really like best, and I definitely want to share with you, is Ocean Now. And in particular, the fact that you can now order your food, drinks to be delivered to you anywhere that you are on the cruise ship. So of course, you can still order your room service, and you can order through your phone, through your stateroom TV, or through your smartphone. You will see a menu of the different food items that you can order. Now, most of them are free, I think anytime. I think it's like 24 hours. There are a couple of items that do have an additional charge, but really most of them are free. And again, you can get this delivered to your cabin, so you can have a drink and some food right on your balcony. But as well, you can be sitting maybe at the very aft of the ship. Maybe you're watching the wake, and instead of going to walk into the buffet and to pick something, you can actually order some nachos and some guacamole and maybe a couple of glasses of wine. And you could sit out and you could watch the wake as you sail away from one of your destinations. And the fun thing about this is you'll order it like right on your phone if you like to, and you'll see that it is ordered. And then after that, kind of like a GPS, you can see when your order is being prepared, when it's on its way, and it really is a pretty quick service as well. Now, I know a lot of people have been wondering if you have a beverage package or maybe you have Princess Plus, can you have drinks delivered to you free of charge as well? And yes, the answer is yes. So you can have soda if you have the soda package, let's say, or even if you don't, otherwise they'll charge you. If you have Princess Plus, which I will talk about after, but yes, you can have your drinks delivered to you in your cabin, alcoholic drinks, soda, anything, water bottles, in your cabin or anywhere on the cruise ship, and even specialty coffee. So let's say you decide to order an egg sandwich for breakfast, room service, you can even order a cappuccino, a specialty coffee to your cabin as well. Princess Plus. Now, I did have to share this with you because I feel like this is like the best kept secret that is out there. Now, I feel like a lot of people on YouTube know about this, so please let me know in the comments below. But many people that we met on the cruise ship just weren't aware of the great value of this. And I should mention, by the way, that Princess is not paying me to say this. I genuinely think this is just a really good value that people should know about. So basically included in Princess Plus is your premium beverage package, and that includes alcoholic beverages, soda, water bottles, and specialty coffee. So really, really good. It includes your tips or your crew incentive, as Princess does call that now. And as well, it includes Medallionet or Wi-Fi for everybody in the cabin. Now, of course, there is a charge for this, but basically over and above the rate that you're paying when you're booking with Princess, if you want to take Princess Plus, it adds up to $40 US per person per day to add on the Princess Plus. When you do the calculations, I think really for most people, this is an incredible value. Now, if you've had Princess Plus, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, I'm going to share with you some information and tips about Princess Cruise food and drinks, but I thought I would share with you kind of a little bit of a couple of random observations that I thought might be a little bit handy. So it has to do firstly with the menus. I know a lot of people have been concerned about, will we only have QR codes? Will we need to have our phone with us all the time? So no, you don't have to. There definitely were those QR codes if you wanted to use them. However, there were actually physical menus. In the main dining room, we were given paper menus. In the specialty restaurant, as well as one of the casual restaurants, we were given paper menus. And personally, I like to look at a paper menu and not the QR code. So I was pretty happy with that. As well, something that actually did surprise me is in the cabin, we still did have the Princess Patter that was left for us every night. And basically that's the schedule of activities. So even though Journey View was available on your phone, you did still have the Princess Patters. Now, I almost forgot to mention that one place that physical menus didn't seem to be available was actually at the bars. So you had to look on your phone for the drinks that were available at the bar, which I didn't like that much, to be perfectly honest. However, when I did ask the bartender, they were able to give me a paper menu, and most of the bars seem to have a little bit of a different menu. I will leave a link to like a resource in the description below if you want to check that out. I'll try to leave all of the different menus that I have. I'll leave them in a blog post below this video. Okay, moving on to cruise food. I love to talk about cruise food. So on Princess, you have a wide variety of food available. So you have the main dining room. You also have some casual restaurants. So on the ship that we were on, the Regal Princess and all of the Royal class ships, I believe that you have the Alfredos. This is a casual Italian restaurant, and a little tip. On embarkation day, most people haven't discovered this restaurant yet, so try to have your lunch there. It is a sit-down casual restaurant, and it is absolutely delicious. As well, you have specialty dining, so specialty restaurants including a steakhouse, which is Crown Grill, and Sabatini's. And different cruise ships do have different specialty dining, so if you are interested in a more intimate experience, maybe sometimes food that might be a little bit of a better quality or presentation, it can be worth having a special evening in the specialty restaurant. Now, something that you should know about eating in the main dining room is that Princess has done away with the older traditional dining and anytime dining. And now everybody has Dine My Way. And basically Dine My Way is just very personable. Before your cruise, you can actually choose reservation times. You can choose different times every evening, or you can choose the same time every evening, maybe 7 o'clock or 6:45 or 6 o'clock, whatever time you like. And you can even choose the pace of dining that you like. So maybe you like to eat at a relaxed pace, or maybe you like a fast dinner. So you can note all of that. You can note your food preferences and even your allergies. However, I do have a tip. I would still note any allergies on your booking because it is really that important. And as well, make sure to talk to the maitre d' and the waiter when you are in the dining room about your allergies. Now, if you like, you can choose to eat only on your own, or you can choose to share a table. Now, if you prefer to play it by ear and eat at different times every evening, I wouldn't worry about it too much. In our case, we did actually reserve a time that we thought we would probably eat at, but sometimes we went a little bit earlier, sometimes we went a little bit later, and they were always able to accommodate us. Sometimes we did have to wait a few minutes, but that was no big deal. And here's a little tip for you. If you find that you're sitting at a table where the waiter, well, the wait staff maybe are just really attentive and you're enjoying that experience and you like that location, you can actually ask the maitre d' to be seated there every night, and they're going to try their best to accommodate you. But that's a good way for the waiter to know your preferences and really to have the best experience possible. Now, the food in the main dining room is pretty good on Princess Cruises, and you'll notice that the menu does change every night. So you'll always have a different choice of like a meat, a fish, a chicken, a pasta, a vegetarian option, and as well, there are some choices that are like princess favorites, they call them, that are pretty much the same every night. Now, something to note, if you've cruised with Princess before, they have unfortunately, I think, changed some of those princess favorites. So now the steak and fries seems to be gone. That hamburger that was on for a little while, that is gone. But the salmon is still there. That's one of my favorite choices. The fettuccine Alfredo is so good, absolutely worth it. You could order that as a main dish or an appetizer. That is absolutely delicious. The Caesar salad, the onion soup is still on the princess favorites, and the shrimp cocktail. And just something to note, if you see two options that you like, they'll be happy to bring you both options, or you could even combine dishes. So what we did one night is we got like one of the steak tournedos options, and the waiter was able to ask the chef to be able to put the lobster tail with it, and it was absolutely delicious. But if you do want two appetizers, two desserts, you can pretty much order whatever you want, and they'll be super accommodating. Now, just to mention quickly some of the other food options, I feel like Princess cruise ships really do have a lot of food options, but of course they have that Alfredos that I spoke about on the Royal class ships, or at least I think most Royal class ships. There's also the International Cafe. Now, that is a cafe with sandwiches and pastries and salads, really, really good. That's in the piazza or the atrium. Now, something that we noticed on this past cruise is rather than having large bowls, the presentation was, well, it looked a little bit more minimal, but it really is because they're plating or putting things like in individual portions instead. But very, very good. I had like that chicken Waldorf salad, absolutely delicious. They have a shrimp salad, the pastries, and honestly, International Cafe, they're open from breakfast really, really early through night for snacks, and I believe they're actually open 24 hours. So there is no way you could go hungry on a Princess cruise. Now, Princess cruise ships do have a buffet, and it's very typical of a buffet. You'll have your roast meats, you'll have your salads, you'll have different pasta dishes, Indian dishes, vegetarian dishes. So in our experience, it's actually quite a good buffet. And as well, next to the pool, you have a really good poolside grill. And I had noticed that the menu and the quality of items seems to have improved. The hamburger choices were really, really nice. I had a grilled chicken sandwich that was absolutely delicious. There are fries, and there are like loaded fries or chili fries. So not the healthiest option in the world, but definitely something yummy. Even some street tacos, so a really nice, diverse choice over at the poolside grill. And you may know that Princess probably has the best pizza at sea. So they do have a pizzeria right on the pool deck. And as well, like I mentioned earlier in the video, Alfredos, just absolutely delicious. Now, something to watch for if you love desserts is in the main dining room, and they may have some even in the International Cafe, but are the Norman Love desserts. Oh my goodness, they are just so decadent, so good. If you see this, definitely, even if you need to share it, even if you're stuffed, definitely you have to indulge. And finally, there's room service. Room service is free on Princess Cruises, and yes, I think it is even 24 hours. Now, a little tip for you, is on disembarkation morning. I know some people have said that you're not able to order breakfast for the last day of the cruise, but in our experience, we were able to do so. We ordered egg sandwiches and coffee, and that was absolutely no problem. It really saved us from having to head to the buffet on disembarkation morning, and it just made our last day much easier. Now, if you are interested in trying out some of the best drinks, at least in my opinion on Princess, definitely have a Dirty Banana. So that's an alcoholic drink that's like a combination of, I believe, pina colada, Bailey's, and banana. Absolutely decadent, worth having. Now, some recommendations that came from others, and I did think were quite good, was the Blue Hawaiian, the Miami Vice. There's also the 24K Rita, which is a margarita. I am not a tequila person, so I just don't really like it very much. However, it looks absolutely fabulous. And I do think if you like margaritas, that you should definitely have this. Now, something that we had when we boarded the ship, so right at embarkation, is we stopped at the Vines Wine Bar and we had a mimosa. Oh my goodness, it was such a great way to start our cruise, and I would highly recommend it. Now, another little tip is at the International Cafe, you can get coffee. Now, the coffee there is not free of charge. However, if you have Princess Plus, or if you have a coffee package, or if you have a beverage package, then you can get coffee there, and their specialty coffee is very good. But in particular, if it's really hot out, maybe you're on a Caribbean cruise, consider getting one of their frozen coffees. Now, what we did is we asked the barista, Constantine. He was really fabulous about the frozen coffees, and he told us just pick something on the menu and he will make it frozen for us. So we chose a mocha coffee. He made it frozen. It was so good, so decadent, and absolutely just perfect after a hot day in one of the islands. Now, if you're wondering what type of cabin to book with Princess, honestly, all of the cabins are pretty comfortable, and in particular, they all have the Princess luxury beds, which are immensely comfortable. So comfortable. But in any case, so you can choose any type of cabin that you want based on your own budget. But I did want to mention really one thing to be careful of. Princess does have obstructed ocean view and obstructed balcony cabins. In my experience, these can be very obstructed. So if you know what you're getting and you're paying really the right price, absolutely go for it. But if you do think that maybe the obstruction when you have the balcony might be underneath, in some cases it's right in front of the balcony. So really choose wisely for that. Now, in our case, on our last cruise, we booked a balcony cabin, but we decided to upgrade just a little bit to the deluxe balcony cabin. It really wasn't a lot more, so I do encourage you maybe to take a look, if you're thinking of the balcony, to look at the deluxe balcony. It did have a small sitting area, so like a small love seat, and we kind of appreciated having that extra space. Maybe you might as well, so I just did want to mention that. And another category that you might want to look at is if you do have a mini suite, you might want to look at the club class mini suites. And basically, club class mini suites do come with some extra, well, some nice things. And if you are thinking that you want to splurge when you are getting back to cruising now, that might be a really nice type of cabin to look at as well. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I did want to let you know some of the things that have changed on board, and some of it is because of these times right now. I'm filming this at the beginning of 2022, and some of these things are really going to be changes, I think, that are just going to stay with the cruise line. So one of them is the e-muster. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but in any case, basically it's the fact that you're no longer having to go to a muster drill or a safety drill where you're grouping together with lots of other people. It is now able to be viewed a safety video right on your phone. So even as you're eating lunch on embarkation day, you can watch that video, or you can also, while you're unpacking, you can watch that right on your stateroom TV. So that is really practical. And after you watch that video, then what you're going to do is you're going to head over to your muster station and you're going to check in with a member of the crew. Now, some of the things that we didn't see on our cruise that we did kind of miss, one of them was the champagne waterfall. So now, because of COVID, that is something that has been discontinued, at least for a little while on Princess. My understanding is that that will come back. It was such a nice thing on the formal nights, but that is not happening right now. The other thing that is not happening right now is the balloon drop. Also something we really always loved on Princess. It was so festive. My understanding is that that's not going to come back, and that has something to do, I believe, with environmental concerns and the balloons. That is my understanding, so don't quote me on that, but I don't think that that is going to come back. Now, something that some people asked about, and no, we did not see this on our cruise, was we didn't see any character photos. So like those pirates maybe that were in photos as you got off on the cruise port, there were no pirates to take photos with. The captain wasn't available for photos, but they did have professional photographers, and they did still have photo sessions, so that was still available. Now, something that we did kind of miss was there were no really poolside games as we had seen before. And again, we cruised really during the height of all of this time, so maybe that is why. But there was no pool volleyball, there was no like sexy legs contest and belly flop contest and some of those other pool games that sometimes are a little bit fun in the main pool area. So that really wasn't happening. What they did have, I guess instead, is they did have some trivia games that you could play on your phone with, I believe it's Fortuna. So they're kind of one of their characters, members of the crew is. So they did have that game, which some people were playing, and it looked like that was enjoyable on the Movies Under the Stars screen. Now, even though we didn't see any big events, any big crowds in the Piazza, there were still events in the theater, shows in the theater, in Princess Live, one of my favorite spots. They still had those audience participation game shows. That was a lot of fun. And there was a deck party as well. Now, I almost forgot to mention a very important tip. If you are interested in going to the adults only sanctuary, if you'd like a little bit of self-care, you can actually reserve either a half day for $20 or a full day to sit in that sanctuary area and really be pampered for $40 a day. Now, what a lot of avid Princess Cruisers do is they know how popular the sanctuary is. And so right away on embarkation day, they go and they sign up on that very first day. So if you are interested in going into the sanctuary and making those reservations, try to do that on the very first day. Now, disembarkation is a little bit different as well, and in particular for international passengers. So I will let you know about that. So you could still do self-disembarkation. So that's when you take your own luggage off the cruise ship. Something to remember, if you do take your own luggage off the cruise ship, is there is no crew to help you. So make sure that you are traveling pretty light, and be prepared to perhaps have to use the stairs because the elevators will be crowded on disembarkation morning. And as well, you can still put your luggage out and the crew will take it the last night of the cruise. Now, if you do, just a little tip, if you do end up getting like your luggage tags for the last day of the cruise, and maybe the time to disembark might say 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30. If the time isn't really to your liking, if it doesn't suit you well in terms of your flight going home or your drive home, what you can do is you can actually just go to guest services and you can ask them for another time slot. And most of the time they're going to be pretty accommodating, and they're going to give you luggage tags that are going to coincide with the time that's most convenient. Now, for Canadians and international guests who do need a test to be able to travel home, at this time, Princess is providing that testing complimentary at the end of the cruise. Now, what's happening right now, and this might change, so always make sure that you are looking on the Princess Cruises website and you're looking at the current information. But at the time that I'm making this video, Princess does have that testing available right outside of the cruise port, and you'll head over there for the testing, and then at that point it takes about an hour or 2 hours for those test results to be sent to you by email. Now, if you are going on a Princess Cruise and you'd like to see a review, I do have a very honest review where I share more tips as well. I will leave that right after this one for you to watch next. Now, I'd love to know from you if you are going on a Princess Cruise, if you've sailed on Princess before, and what tips that you can share. As well, please ask me any questions and I will try my best to answer. Now, I hope that you did enjoy this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.